Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach, and today I'm talking about how to not mess up when your ex or your crush breaks no contact, okay? So this was a question I got from a client actually who said, how can you not, how do you not mess up when someone breaks no contact? Because that's something that happened with this particular client. They didn't have the right response when their crush came back into their life that they had dated but got rejected by. And basically he didn't give the right response, basically. Or at least the response that probably could have facilitated something happening, because you can't really read too much into these things, because he may have given the right response, but it still may have ended the same way. But you don't know these things. But what's the best card you can play, basically, if your ex or an ex-crush, someone that you, or maybe someone that you dated that lost interest, that came back, what's the best thing that you can do? So first of all, let's look at some examples of what an ex will do, or whoever this person you're doing no contact with will say when they've broken no contact. So first of all, you've got to ignore likes, comments, retweets. You've got to ignore stories, that kind of thing, them viewing your stories, them unblocking you. You've got to ignore all that stuff, because that is not them breaking no contact. Them breaking no contact is when they initiate a conversation with you. So this could be them saying something simple like, hey, how are you? Or, hey, do you remember the time when we did this? They'll bring up something. They'll either say, hey, how are you? How have you been? Or they'll bring up something from the past. But you can tell basically that it's an excuse that they're using just to talk to you. Like if they're asking you about something, but it's something they could easily Google, then it's them breaking no contact, basically. And they want to talk to you. However, if it's something like, can you come and pick up this? Or it's something to do with the kids, like, Johnny needs to be picked up from football practice today. Can you go and pick him up? That's not them breaking no contact. That's them talking to you more like a business-like manner, and in that kind of thing. But if it's something inquiring about you and solely you, like asking about how you are, right? And it's just that. It's just like, hey, how are you? There's nothing else added onto that. They're not using it as a formality, right? Because they might say, hey, how are you? But also add on to that, can you pick up Jimmy? It's really more about picking Jimmy up from football practice than it is about inquiring about you. But if it's just, hey, how are you? What have you been up to? That's more of an indication that something could be, about, them having feelings for you and then wanting to talk to you, then wanting you to come back into their orbit in some way. Again, it might not be, hey, how are you? Or what have you been up to? It could be, hey, do you remember when we did this? Or, hey, would you like to meet up and, do this? If they're saying something like that, then it's more of an indication that they are breaking no contact and they want to speak to you, and perhaps they want to see you. So Corey Wayne has a good line, and he says, this is just, generally about women. It doesn't have to be about men too, but generally he says, like, if a woman initiates contact with you, assume she wants to see you and arrange a date. And I think this can work for this as well. So that's what you need to say. When your ex breaks no contact, you need to say, hey, I'm doing really well, thanks. Obviously respond to whatever it is they're asking. And then you say, it'd be great to have a catch-up. When are you free to do that? When are you free to have a catch-up? And if they want to see you and they're serious about maybe coming back with you, they will jump at the chance to do that. They'll be like, oh yeah, I'm free Saturday. Or, oh yeah, I'm free Sunday. They'll be really excited about that, right? If they are interested in getting back with you. Okay? So this sort of thing happened to me before. There was a girl that I was sort of dating, sort of half seriously, for about 3 months, about 7 years ago. And I broke up with her because she was basically lying a lot about different things. And she had a lot of stories that didn't add up. And I was sort of catching on to that and was feeling a bit uncomfortable about that. So we broke up. But then, like a few months later, she re-added me on Facebook and I accepted because I didn't really care back then. And she said a message to me saying, hey, how are you? And I responded, and we kind of almost nearly met up again, but I decided at the last minute that I really didn't want to do that, because I was thinking back on it and thinking, you know what, she did lie about a lot of different things, and I just don't think that she's the right one for me. So that's something that will happen. Like, they will reach out to you with just like, hey, how are you, out of the blue, or something like that. And you then, if you're serious and you think like, okay, yeah, I really want to get back with this person, let's say that they were genuinely a good egg and you had no issues with them, but perhaps maybe something happened, like a misunderstanding or something that led you to break up, then you can say, hey, when are you free to hang out? And if they want to get back with you, if they're interested in being with you again, they will tell you when they're available. But if it was something where they were just inquiring about something, let's say they brought up something about the past, like, oh, hey, do you remember when we did this? Do you have the postcode for this, or something like that? Then if they're not interested and they were just, being curious about you, or just wanted to get some information off of you, then they will decline. Or they'll say, oh, maybe another time, and be a bit flaky about it. Okay, but if they like you and they want to get back with you, they will tell you when they're available. So that's why it's important that the thing that you say to them when they reach out to you is, hey, yeah, I'm really good. Respond to what they asked or what they said. And also in that same message, say, it would be great to have a catch up. When are you available? Right? That's what you need to leave it with. That should be the last line of that message you send. When are you available? I'd love to see you. When are you available? That's what you got to say. Okay? And if they like you, if they still have feelings for you, they'll jump at the chance to do that. Okay? So, I highly recommend, watching my audio book type thing called How to Get Your Ex Back, because that will really help with this situation. They'll give you some more detailed information on what to do. If you do end up meeting up with your ex, or this crush, or this person that lost interest and then came back, then you've got to treat it like a date. So that means, you meet up, hopefully in the evening, because that makes it more romantic. And because I recommend, if your ex does come back into your life, save this video now and come back to it when your ex reaches out to you, so you don't mess up. So you know what to do next, basically. Because what can happen is that when your ex messages you or breaks no contact, you might be really fast to respond. So just take a minute, come back to this video, rewatch it. But yeah, what you want to do is then create a date with them, right? And one of the ways that you can do this, to make it kind of like speed up the sort of like the dating aspect to it, to make it more romantic, go to multiple places. So this is what I say to people when they're on a first date with someone, just a new random person in general, right? If you like them, just meet up. If you're unsure about them at the moment, then the first thing you need to do is you just need to meet up for a drink. That should be your first port of call, right? Just meeting up for a drink, for a chat, right? And I recommend that you do this with your ex as well. Don't go straight into like a sit-down dinner or going to watch a movie together. You want time to chat to each other. So just meet at a bar or like a little restaurant for just a drink. Right, and if you're having fun, if you're having a good time, if things look like they're progressing well, and you still want to be around them, and it looks like they still want to be around you, then you can extend the date and go to somewhere else. Like you could stay at that restaurant and have a meal, or you could go to a different restaurant and have a meal, kind of like just make more experiences happen. And then after that, maybe you go and look around the town, do some window shopping, or you go to a local park or something like that. Have multiple dates in one date, basically. That's because the more experiences you have together, the more romantic it sort of like gets. So that's something else that you may want to do. Okay, but the last thing I want to leave off with is, is this really right for you? Right, if your ex does break no contact, you really need to consider if this is the right thing for you. Because most of the time, I know it's a cliche saying, but your ex really is an ex for a reason. If it didn't work out the first time, it's very unlikely that it'll work out the second time around. So it's important then to really take into consideration if this is really the right move for you, or if you're better off actually just letting this person go and finding someone else. Okay, but I go into more detail on that in my audio of How to Get Your Ex Back, so I highly recommend that you go and watch that as well, to refresh you as well if you've already watched it before or listened to it. Right, so thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.